Please settle into a comfortable meditation posture. And using whichever method you find most effective, please allow both your physical body and your mind to come to a place of stillness. And when you're ready, in your own time, please gently transition into meditation on the inner body. Become the silent observer of sensations within your inner body, sensations that may take the form of a lightness, perhaps a heaviness, perhaps a tingling, perhaps a pulsation. No analysis is necessary. There's nothing to figure out. All that is asked of you is to silently observe. You are not the mountain. You are not separate from the mountain. There is no mountain. There is no exhaustion of mountain. Day after day, year after year, century after century, the mountain simply observes silently. Snow may fall on the mountain or not. A nearby river may rise or not. Leaves may appear on the branches of a nearby tree, change color, and then fall to the ground. The mountain simply observes silently from a place of perfect equanimity. No hope, no fear, no praise, no blame, no speculation, no expectation. Whether this meditation continues for a few more moments or a few more eons, please continue to silently observe sensations within your own body mountain. Now, very gently, very, very gently, please redirect your awareness. Become aware again of your physical body and allow your breathing to become less shallow. Taking deeper and deeper breaths, become aware again of the garments of clothing resting on the surface of physical body. Become aware again of the surroundings inside the room you're occupying. Become aware again of the world that exists outside of the room that you're occupying. Become aware again of clouds. Become aware again of blue sky beyond the clouds. Become aware again of outer space beyond the blue sky. We dedicate all of the merit, all of the merit from this morning's meditation to world peace. May all beings without exception be completely free from all forms of emotional and physical suffering. May all beings without exception come to rest in a state of perfect, complete fearlessness. May all beings without exception be happy, peaceful, contented, and free. Completely fill up your belly and lungs with air, and when you're ready, you can open your eyes and bring your meditation to an end. Excuse me just a minute, friends. We've got some visitors here at the center. I'll be right back. Sorry about that, friends. Sometimes we have people attend in person to attend these Monday, Friday meditation classes in person. So I leave the front door unlocked, and every once in a while somebody sees the open sign and understandably comes in to see what's going on. So, yeah. Um, so we are going through the Four Noble Truths of Buddhism, and we are presently on the second of the Four Noble Truths. You should abandon origins. If you want to be free from suffering, you should abandon the origins of suffering, which are the delusions. Delusions being, of course, confused, unhelpful states of mind. So I'd like to read for you an excerpt from one of my favorite books. You guys have heard me refer to this before. When You Greet Me, I Bow by Norman Fisher. The title is When You Greet Me, I Bow. The subtitle is Notes and Reflections from a Life in Zen. So what I'd like to share with you is from the chapter called Falling in Love. Falling in Love. Um, and by the way, I'm gonna run over a couple of minutes so I can cover the material that I wanted to cover. If you need to leave at 9 o'clock, completely understandable. Just know that you can come to the Lotus Center YouTube channel and catch the last few minutes that you might have missed if you do need to leave at 9. So in the chapter Falling in Love, Norman Fisher writes, "There is nothing more miraculous to me than the experience of looking at a baby, especially if the baby is your own, but any baby will do. The perfect fingers and toes with their tiny, precise nails, the intense face with its soulful expression, devoid of defensiveness or posturing, the round, soft body, always alive with motion or utterly in repose, a picture of pristine humanness that delights the eye and heart. Parents can spend hours gazing at their babies with endless fascination. How could such a creature exist, and where could it have come from? How is it that it seems to look exactly like so many different relatives at once? How can its personality be already so clear and at the same time so unformed? The very nature of our lives seems to be called into question by this small person, whose fierce impulse simply to exist makes everything pale by comparison. To really look at a baby in this way is to feel with immediacy a powerful, selfless, healing love that astonishes you with its purity and warmth. Overcome by it, you easily lose yourself in wonder. This is because the baby evokes an experience of pure human possibility. She, having only recently come up out of emptiness, bears still the marks: pure skin, soft limbs, perfect features, clear and unadulterated karma before the formation of self with all its messy anxieties and complicated desires. So I kind of paused deliberately, obviously on some of the words in there: selfless, emptiness. So Norman Fisher, I think, points to what makes spending time with newborns so magical and so hypnotic and so beautiful. And that's because the self of the baby, the sense of self of this human being, has not yet formed. We're looking at a sentient being that is devoid of a sense of self, of a me, of an I. And it's no mistake. It's no mistake that the whole world loves a baby. And I think that's because we love and are fascinated and simply in love with this being, this entity that has no sense of self. It's almost as though they are an enlightened being in that sense, because there is no sense of self. Eckhart Tolle explains really beautifully that at some point, to function in this world, in this modern world, it's important for um, us to develop a sense of self. You know, it's part of the development, it's part of the growth process of evolving as a human being. The child needs to have a sense of self and say, this toy is mine. It's not yours. It's mine. Kind of for us to function in a conventional sense in the worldly world, I think these boundaries, or sorry, I think it's true, and Eckhart Tolle postulates that it's true, that these boundaries need to be formed. It's my toy, not yours. It's mine. And then Eckhart Tolle uses the example, it becomes problematic as we venture into adulthood. The toy becomes the BMW. It's mine, not yours. An attachment and aversion when bad things happen to the BMW and so forth. But and then after that, for those of us on certain spiritual paths, we reverse the process, I think, and go back to trying to get to a place of being that is devoid of self. So it's like this bell-shaped curve, like no sense of self, me and mine. And then maybe, hopefully, we can go back to a place of absence of sense of self, emptiness of me, emptiness of I. We've been talking about, or we talked last Friday about this notion of self-referential, of being self-referential. Everything in our experience focuses on and has a focal point of me, of my sense of self. How does this situation, how does this person, how does this inanimate object, how does this affect me? It's self-referential, and it is what my teacher calls the root of all suffering. He uses the expression, and you'll see it in certain Tibetan Buddhist texts. It's referred to as self-cherishing sometimes. As I said on Friday, I don't care for that expression much. Kind of a gateway opened for me when the expression self-referential appeared. And we can see, I think, if we examine carefully, and I encourage you to please examine carefully, how this self-referential mode of existence serves to strengthen sense of self, how it serves to strengthen me, I. When we're a baby, we're kind of like a blank slate. And as we, go from baby into being a toddler and then to being a child and so on, we're like a blank slate and we're being conditioned. And part of that conditioning is that you are you. You are separate, child, from Johnny, your little play friend. That conditioning happens, and the sense of self sort of unwittingly, like without any control on our part, just becomes a thing. It becomes the thing. And then over time, this self-referential mode of existence functions to affirm and strengthen and solidify sense of self. That's why I said on Friday, becoming aware of the consequences in our daily lives during the meditation break, being aware of the kind of emerging of a self-referential view and the consequences of that self-referential view, just noticing and being aware of the consequences, the consequence being that it affirms and strengthens this confused notion of self and other, being aware of it happening and being aware of the consequences of it can be a beautiful, super, super important practice during our meditation break, which can support our practice during the meditation session of meditating on the emptiness of sense of self. Ultimately, the only way out of the confused notion of self and other is a direct experience of the emptiness of self, just as all phenomena are empty. Its true fundamental intrinsic nature is it being empty of any inherent existence. That's the only way to awaken from that illusion, is meditation on and direct realization of the emptiness of sense of self. But beautiful practice during the meditation break, as I say, is to be aware of and understand the consequences of a self-referential way of living your life, how we do it, and then start to gradually, gently, gradually, and skillfully go from self-focused, self-referential to other-referential, other-focused. And with this kind of two-pronged approach, we can and will eventually awaken to the emptiness of self, not the nothingness of self, but the emptiness of self. And then that's how it all ends. That's how cessation occurs, the cessation of suffering, which is the third noble truth, which we'll talk about on Friday. You should attain cessations. Again, the preamble, if you want to be free of suffering, you should attain cessation. So there it is, you guys. Thanks for hanging in, running over the last 4 minutes. Just a quick announcement. We will have class on Friday. We will have Medicine Buddha meditation on Saturday. We will not have class next week. For Monday or Friday, I'll be leading a will class for 5 consecutive mornings on, lo and behold, how to start and maintain a consistent meditation practice. So that's going to preempt our Monday and Friday classes next week, but we will have class this Friday. We will have Medicine Buddha meditation on Saturday. Thank you, you guys. Thank you so much for being here and caring about learning this Dharma.
Thank you so much, Jeff.
Thank you, Jeff.
You're most welcome, you guys. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Goodbye.
Bye, everybody. Bye, Teta. So glad you joined us.